What it do, family? For those of you who don't know, I am actively pursuing a law degree, and due to my schedule this semester, I will be posting my videos now on Wednesday and Friday evenings. And with that being said, let's jump into it.
Nos cogieron ayer. Nosotros andamos aquí.
Pero finalmente los dejaron pasar.
What you're seeing here, family, is a federal officer breaking federal statute. Let that sink in. Blatantly, on camera and everything, a federal officer breaking federal statute in order to allow these illegal immigrants into the country. And you had people all around him applauding his efforts. I want to read this article here to give you a little background on this story. Federal border guards could be seen cutting barbed wire and allowing illegal immigrants to enter through private property in Eagle Pass, according to a report by Fox News. A border correspondent for the network tweeted a video of border police cutting the barrier, which was placed by the state of Texas as part of an effort to prevent unlawful entries across the border. The barbed wire is on private property, and the state of Texas placed it there with the landowner's consent, per the social media post. So not only is the barbed wire placed on private property, but it was placed there with the consent of the owner of that private property. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, CBP, told Fox News that the group included children, which they always say, but I'm going to show you a video or something in a little bit. It included a group of children, and they were already in the country, prompting border agents to take them into custody. The agency highlighted its authority in the border security domain. It is a federal responsibility to enforce U.S. immigration laws. U.S. Border Patrol continues to enforce U.S. immigration laws, the statement reads. The individuals had already crossed the Rio Grande from Mexico, were on U.S. soil, and are subject to the U.S. immigration laws. Individuals who cross unlawfully will be subject to the lawful pathway rule, which places common sense conditions on asylum eligibility, with certain expectations. Those who do not establish a legal basis to remain in the United States, will be removed. In addition to constructing physical barriers, Abbott's strategy has been to use the state's criminal code to prosecute illegal immigrants for trespassing on private property. The state has also transported illegal immigrants by bus to sanctuary cities across the country, including Washington, D.C., New York City, and elsewhere. So apparently, you don't even have to make it to the land in order to get into America. If you get into the waters of America, then let me go ahead and cut these open for you. But I seem to remember when the Haitians made it to the land, they was getting whipped, they was getting beaten, and they got deported. So it is very interesting to me that all of a sudden, not only did Texas go, or Greg Abbott, whoever in Texas, went to private landowners and got permission to put these things in the waters circling around the perimeter of their land, but you have federal agents coming in and saying, F all that. Eminent domain. We're going to clip this up because once they're in these waters here, oh, they're subject to U.S. immigration laws. And they say that if they can't come up with a good reason, a good standing for being in the U.S., then they will be deported. We already know how that goes because that's why we're seeing Greg Abbott bust these immigrants illegal immigrants all over the United States. So we know for a fact they're not deporting anybody. They will accept them. They're bringing them in. They're cutting open gates and stuff. Cutting open barbed wire and stuff in order to let people in. However, they're not deporting anybody. And right now, Chicago and New York is dealing with a lot of that. And if you see what's going on with these illegal immigrants in Chicago and in New York, the government has basically gave them some sort of entitlement. These immigrants, these illegal immigrants, are very, very much entitled. They're protesting and doing all kind of stuff, trying to literally force the government to allow them to work. Now, here's the thing. You got your so-called black leaders, your so-called black faces in high places. Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, leading the charge. Well, in one sector, Brandon Johnson don't even want to talk about it. He's basically making it seem like we're all coming together as Chicagoans. Well, I'm going to show you something that proves that to be false. But Eric Adams, he's leading the charge. Protests and all this other stuff with these illegals demanding things that they are not owed. Demanding things that America is not obligated to give them. Check this out.
What do we want? What do we want? Let's hear it. In New York City, we know how much there's at stake in this fight for work permits. But let's be clear. We want our federal administration to be the yes we can administration.
Yeah, what's at stake is New York going broke. New York City going broke. So yeah, we need to get y'all all working so y'all can start paying back the city of New York. But continue.
Imagine you were told that you could not pursue the American dream. Imagine if that right was stripped away from you. When I spent the night and spoke with the asylum seekers, they were clear. We don't want your free food. We don't want your free bedding. We don't want your health care. We just want to work.
More than 50% of the homeless population are Black Americans. Let that sink in. More than 50% of the homeless population in the United States of America are Black Americans. Where's this fire for Black Americans? Where is this fire for the homeless population in your own city, Eric Adams? Where's this fire? Because what you're doing right here, you should be doing for your constituents. The people who look like you in your community. But that's not happening, is it? No, it's not. Carry on.
Es duro arriesgar nuestras vidas, soportar hambre, caminar kilómetro tras kilómetro, pero nos vemos en la obligación de salir de nuestro país por conflicto. Yo estoy aquí para trabajar, para ayudar a mi familia, para contribuir a la economía del país.
Thousands of jobs are available to be filled to provide the services we need in this city, this state, in this country. It is time to stop this madness and allow willing and ready people to work.
Here's an idea. Why don't you just pay people what they're worth, the money that they're supposed to be getting, and America wouldn't have this problem in the corporate sector. But no, they want to underpay everyone and then expect us to want to continue to work. So they're saying that there's an employment crisis. If that is true, if you would pay everybody what they're worth and what they're supposed to be paid, that wouldn't be a factor. But carry on.
To contribute to our society. We realize that we are here because they came here and they helped build this city.
No, Eric Adams, we are all here because of the slaves that was brought here to build a country with no type of compensation. And everyone, including those illegals, are here and came here to get the funds that was built by those slaves. That's it. That's it. That's all. There is nothing else around that. You cannot sit here and say they helped build anything. They didn't help build nothing. They came here just like everyone else came here, whether Asian, whether Pacific Islander, whether whatever. They came here for the free amenities that the government was giving them, but declining them same things and opportunities to those descendants of the slaves who actually built New York City, who actually built the country all around us. Carry on.
Let them run.
And I say deport them all. Send them all back, men, women, and children. Period, point in black. Send them all back. Period. They don't belong here. Send them home. Because we're paying for a bunch of illegals when our communities are in shambles. And we're supposed to care more about them than we're supposed to care about our own community. You got the game messed up. You got the game messed up. I'm going to play this next clip so you can see how entitled these illegals are becoming.
4 days. I've been here. Like, as you see, people are sitting here. We spend the night here and the day as well. We wish they can move us to another place, like a safe place. We cannot spend the whole week here, It's not safe, it's dangerous.
Es lo único que le estamos pidiendo al gobierno, que nos dé la facilidad de trabajo. 2 días tengo acá en la espera del albergue. No son condiciones normales porque nosotros también necesitamos bañarnos y otras cosas. Por lo menos nos dan un poquito de alimento, nos dan fruta, nos dan pan, todo eso. Pero ya en la noche ya quedamos como a la intemperie. No nos dijeron que esto iba a ser acá así.
So you have one guy talking about the dangers. Well, none of you cared about the dangers when y'all walked thousands upon thousands of miles being, brought through certain areas by coyotes and all this other shit with your children, the women, and everything else. You wasn't concerned about safety at that time. But now, since you come here, you're concerned about safety, huh? That doesn't make a lick of sense. And then we have another situation where I spoke about this in a couple of videos ago, where the illegal immigrants are out there wasting thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars in food. Tossing everyday good food, tossing it away. Still wrapped, unopened, untouched, going in the trash can. When we have homeless people. We have homeless people that can't even get those meals. But they're getting 3 square meals a day, and they're throwing away 3 square meals a day. But they want to talk about coming here to get work. We're supposed to be able to let them work. It's inhumane. You didn't care about the humanity of anything when you walked all those thousands upon thousands of miles to actually jump into a country illegally to get benefits that you don't deserve, nor are you obligated to. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. But Brandon Johnson will have you thinking that, people in Chicago are working together. The black people and the illegal immigrants are working together to make things work. Let's play a clip where Brandon Johnson walks away after being asked about these situations. He don't even want to talk about the situations that he's responsible for at this point in time.
Other communities, is there a way to work with them And the mayor's leaving, unfortunately. We still have questions for him. We do have questions for the mayor. Wait.
Is that being addressed at all?
We're addressing all of it. And, again, the number of families that could help grow our economy, quite frankly, that number is endless. So to have businesses and, again, the full force of government at every single level is critical in this moment. And what I've always said repeatedly, that is my responsibility as mayor of the city of Chicago to bring people together. And we're doing just that.
Governor Pritzker, in 2021 you said that you passed a law saying Illinois is a welcoming state. So why aren't some of these migrants being shipped to the other 101 counties throughout the state of Illinois?
We're a welcoming state. Well, you should ask the governor of Texas. You should ask the governor of Florida why they're sending people, shipping people, many of them, frankly, without their consent, to the city of Chicago. That's where they're sending them. So that you're asking me why are they doing that? I can only tell you it's a political maneuver on their part and indicative of the partisan nature of what the other party is talking about on immigration. They just don't want to get to a solution.
This dude pulled the Steve Urkel. I don't have to take this. I'm going home. And just walked out. And you should look up, all of you should look up the full press conference. Because they asked him a few questions and he was standoffish. But when he got tired of it, he was out. He pulled that Steve Urkel like a mug. I don't have to take this. I'm going home. But I want to highlight something that he said and then jump to the actual reality.
That is my responsibility as mayor of the city of Chicago to bring people together. And we're doing just that.
Wait. Can we get some order in here, please?
Angry words and heated confrontation over plans to house migrants steps from people's front doors.
I don't want them there. Take them someplace else or send them back to Venezuela. I don't care where they go.
This is a generous city. We are a city of immigrants.
This standing room only meeting between Chicago city officials and Hyde Park residents comes as the city prepares to utilize as early as Friday the Chicago Lakeshore Hotel at 49th and DuSable Lakeshore Drive to house up to 300 migrants.
We believe that every community should support the asylum seekers.
Yes, every community, but your own. When they start putting them in your community, then the police can do something. Then they start sending out National Guards. Y'all saw what happened at Martha's Vineyard. But carry on.
The city also eyeing this former U.S. Marine Corps facility near Foster and Kedzie, with the number of migrants at police stations doubling in recent weeks.
The dirt, the grime.
The Fraternal Order of Police president posting video of overflowing garbage and people sleeping shoulder to shoulder blocking entrances.
This is absolutely unacceptable and ridiculous working conditions.
Well, seeing how you guys are refusing to turn those people over to ICE, I don't feel bad for you. It's like the whole situation with the Hollywood situation there, and the strike out there. It's hard for me to feel bad for any of those people if you're not a lower tier actor. It's very hard for me to even fathom why they think that they will be able to pull on our heartstrings. But if you notice, that's what they do every time they speak about these centers, talking about women and children are going to be there. And when most of the centers you've seen has been mostly men.
Earlier this week, an adult and 2 children suffering from flu-like symptoms had to be taken from the 4th District station to a hospital. Back in Hyde Park, neighbors asking, what about us?
Property tax relief, because it's going to be, we're changing the neighborhood. We're doing something for you. You should be doing something for us.
Officials say the Lakeshore Hotel will be used as a migrant shelter for about 6 months, specifically for families with children, many with medical needs.
See? There they go. Try to tug on your heartstrings, trying to make you feel like this is the most humane thing to do. Many with medical conditions. We're going to be housing specific families, many with medical conditions. They ain't say children, many with children with medical conditions. For all we know, the family could be a group of dudes who are all brothers who have mental issues. This is what I'm talking about. So this is where we are, family. This is where we are. We have our own government breaking its own laws in order to protect citizens that don't belong to them. Illegal immigrants who are not their own citizens, but their own citizens they can care less about, sleep on the street and die. They won't feed their own citizens, but they can feed 3 times a day these illegal immigrants, only for them to throw all that food away. We are in a place where people who have faces like us are representing everyone else but us in those high spaces with black faces. This is where we're at. Black New York is dead. And Mayor Adams is making sure that happens. And I'm be honest with you. Brandon Johnson is trying to make sure black Chicagoans got the same situation happening for them. But this is a lesson. We got to keep our eyes on these situations and call out these situations. Shout out to all the family that went out there and spoke out against it. Went to those emergency meetings, because that meeting took place 2 days before it was supposed to happen. Excuse me. It took place the day it was supposed to happen, the day that they're supposed to have been, implementing the situation. They contacted the alderman 2 days before it even took effect. So the alderman that day put on an emergency meeting. That night, put on an emergency meeting. This is where we're at. So when we're telling you, and when I say we're, I'm talking about people within the new black media, are telling you, don't be voting for these folks who ain't giving you any type of concrete information on what they're going to do for you and your community. Oh, we absolutely mean it. And when we're telling you that you need to be looking at these situations because they're going to continue to come to you to make sure that they can stay in office and do things for everybody but you. Oh, we absolutely mean it. Much love to you guys. Like I said earlier in the video, for now on, the videos will be posted on Wednesday and Friday evenings. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Beat up the algorithm with me. Beat up the algorithm with me. And with that being said, the doors of the church are closed, fam. Peace.